Okay, good morning, good evening, depending on our time zone. Greetings to everyone, and thank everybody who has made it possible to squeeze their time for this presentation. It's going to be another exciting moment with Sucavu. Today, we are still going to be talking on what we have been discussing since last week. Before starting, I would like to acknowledge Dr. Raymond Leopon-Jume-Eyame, who is the head of the scientific committee, the president of the scientific committee of Sucavu, who has given me the privilege to do this presentation. And today we are going to be looking at the Sucavu products and their role in pain management, inflammation, high blood pressure, diabetes, weight loss, skin affections, and many others. Yeah, we are going to look at the Sucavu philosophy. The Sucavu is not just a lifestyle, it is a philosophy. It wasn't just enough for the Sucavu team to own a farm, but it has to take in further studies. You know, one of its major priorities is to come out with supreme products. And it is a company that is combining both science, beauty, health, performance, and many other opportunities that are very useful for to maintain optimum health. It's worth noting that there are three main categories of cannabinoids, and we have phytocannabinoid, synthocannabinoid, and endocannabinoid. Sucavu products are based from extract from phytocannabinoid, which are from the cannabis plant itself. And the component that is mostly extracted here is the CBD. You know, the cannabis plant has the THC, CBD, CBN, and THCV, but Sucavu extracts the useful and the part that has less consequences on our health. You know, the dangerous side, which is, for example, the THC, which is more dangerous. And the synthocannabinoids are produced from pharmaceutical laboratories, while the endocannabinoids are produced by our body itself. We can also obtain from food, such as omega-3s and omega-6s. It's worth noting that our body has an endocannabinoid system, which has receptors, principally CB1 and CB2 receptors. And these receptors, they play a very good function in the regulation and functioning of our whole body in areas such as appetite, pain, sensation, and many others. The CBD part, which is a part of the cannabis plant that is exploited extensively by Sucavu, has a lot of benefits. Apart from being anxiolytic, it is a neuroprotective, antispasmodic, vasorelaxant, anti-proliferative, that's against cancer, antibacterial, analgesic, and so on and so forth. Before we proceed, we are still going to remind us on how cannabinoid products are taken. And here, it is worth noting that no dosage recommendation is valid. And we take into account the dosage of cannabinoids in the 300, 600, and 1,200 milligram vial. And we can also gradually increase the dose and assess the efficacy and the tolerance of the product as we are taking. And the patient response depends on three factors: the current condition, route of administration, and the concentration of the cannabinoid. For cannabinoid oil, 300 milligram, from the first to the third day, we start with 15 sublingual drops in the evening. 4th to the 6th day, 20 sublingual drops in the evening. From the 7th to the 10th day and beyond, we can reach the effective dose and repeat 20 drops 3 times a day. For cannabinoid oil, 600 milligram, from the 1st to the 3rd day, we start with 7 drops in the evening. 4th to the 6th day, 14 sublingual drops in the evening, and from the 7th to the 10th day and beyond, we repeat the dose 2 to 3 times a day if the dose is effective. For cannabinoid oil, 1,200 milligram, from the 1st to the 3rd day, we start with 4 drops in the evening. From the 4th to the 6th day, we go down to 8 drops in the evening, and from the 7th day and beyond, we repeat the dose 2 to 3 times. And these are the various cannabinoid oil. As we have seen, their dosages: 150, 300, 600, and 1,200 milligram. They come with various tests: coconut, cinnamon, mint, vanilla, and all of them contain CBD, CBG, CBDV, CBN, CBC, and they all have an anti-rage effect prescribed for various indications. Let's look at the effect of cannabinoid on stress. It defines stress as a natural physiological reaction allowing the body to face change, and it can occur on the occasion of positive or negative events. Stress may allow a positive adaptation response or a negative maladaptive reaction, and it can be chronic and become harmful to physical and mental health. The three phases of stress, we have the alarm stage, the resistance stage, and the exhaustion stage. In the alarm stage is when the central nervous system is awakened, causing your body's defenses to assemble. And this stage results in fight or flight response. The resistance stage is when your body begins to repair itself, and normalize heart rate, blood pressure is normalized, etc. after initial shock of a stressful event. In the exhaustion stage now is when activation in the first and the second stage continues over time, causing a breakdown in the balance within your body. And this is when certain diseases such as diabetes, heart diseases may begin to show up. How can we understand the mechanism of stress in a simple way? Here, it's worth noting that stress has varied causes: aggression, physical suffering. We have mental, social, emotional, or daily exceptional. That's when you're exposed to something for long. We have psychological aggression as well, which could be medication, injury, and cold. And in all of these, the body reacts to it by producing adrenaline, high quantities of adrenaline and cortisol. And the consequences are that when these molecules are produced, there is suppression of hunger in some cases, there is poor digestion and assimilation of food in others. In others, it causes insomnia, depression, headaches, eczema, psoriasis. There is increased heart rate and blood pressure and blood in the muscles and lowered immune system. And all of these result in weight loss, gastric ulcers and lesions, high blood pressure and heart rhythmic disorders, and recurrent pathological infections, diseases, and tumors. This is simply a presentation of the homeostatic mechanism and the role of cannabinoids in stress. It is not, as we can see, the first slide, on the first section, where there is when the body is exposed to stress, there is that imbalance in our homeostasis. But with the presence of cannabinoids, we maintain, we achieve sympathetic system facing danger or any other situation. CBD fixed on the presynaptic CB2 receptors there, and yet there is a blockage of release of chemical mediators leading to the effect of stress and noradrenaline. Let's dive into anxiety right away. Anxiety is defined as frequent and intense feeling of fear, imminent danger, or emotional turmoil. And to better understand anxiety, we will look at the causes and the symptoms. The causes of anxiety, we have intense shock, accidents, failure, stress itself, depressive states, phobia, obsession, diseases such as asthma and diabetes, drug abuse such as wrong use of amphetamines. The symptoms are, we have nervousness, feeling of helplessness, vague sense of impending danger, palpitation, sweating, and in some cases there is syncope. How can we, what is a good advice we can give to someone who is undergoing anxiety or who is faced with anxiety? You need to talk to someone, you confide to somebody. Some cases you have to sleep well, you have good deep sleep, you eat healthy, you do physical exercise, jogging, reduce or quit alcohol and coffee, cigarettes, or in some cases you have to consult a doctor, in this case a psychiatrist, for advice. These are the anxiety disorders that CBD may help to treat. We have generalized anxiety, panic disorders, social anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, obsessive and compulsive disorders. How does CBD reduce stress and anxiety? CBD stimulates the endocannabinoid system and the production of endocannabinoids, which influence the level of serotonin, which is a molecule of happiness, and promotes neuronal regeneration, treats stress and anxiety.
You're back, hooray!
I apologize for the technical error.
That's okay.
There are some issues with our connection, but Everything is okay now. We have normalized it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks for hopping back on.
Yeah. So as I was saying, there is an activation of the A2A adenosine receptors via CBD, which has an anxiolytic action. The effect of cannabinoids on pain and inflammation. The mechanism of action of cannabinoid on pain. The cannabidiol, which acts on the nervous system by inhibiting the transmitted message signals, thus reducing pain. CBD has an immunosuppressive effect on some of our cells, such as the microglia cells, which make up the microglia, and which play a relatively important role in the sensation of inflammation and on pain. This is simply a mechanism of action of CBD on inflammation. And here, when CBD binds to the receptors on the cells, it penetrates and gets into the cytoplasm of the cells. And its presence in the cytoplasm of the cell, it reduces the precursors or the markers of inflammation, TNFA1, interleukin 4, 6, and 12. These are markers that causes inflammation of the body. And with the presence of CBD, these markers are reduced, thereby reducing inflammation. Cannabidiol has therefore been demonstrated through these different actions. It is also to be anti-inflammatory, analgesic, and anxiolytic, sedative, anticonvulsant, antiemetic, antiproliferative, anti-apoptic, and a neuroprotective. Here we present to you this pain away muscle gel of Sucavu, which is a muscle freeze. CBD, it gives a cold feeling. And it is advisable to add this to your gym bag for a regular workout routine to use. And you can also use it if you have bruises. It soothes and loosens aching muscles, no oily residue left after application, and it has a pleasant scent as well. There is also muscle balm, joint balm, which is used on aching muscles and joints for pain relief. Frankincense oil, black curcumin seed, it's very important too. Yeah, okay, here we are going to look at the effects of cannabinoid on high blood pressure. And on this slide is something we have been repeating over and over. The normal blood pressure, the systolic is less than 120 millimeters of mercury, and the diastolic one is less than 80 millimeters of mercury. And for someone to get into a hypertensive crisis, it's when the systolic blood pressure is higher than 180 millimeters of mercury, or with a diastolic of more than 120 millimeters of mercury. And here one needs to consult a doctor. So we need to always monitor our blood pressure rather than waiting for it to become complicated. Now, several studies, these are all research which have been proven how CBD worked on blood pressure. Several studies show that CBD regulates the activities of cyclooxygenase, COX, a key enzyme in inflammation through anti-inflammatory and antioxidant activity. CBD also acts on the CB1 receptors by liberation of nitric oxide, which further causes the dilatation of arteries. We are going to see more on this as we progress. It actions also on water retention. What causes water retention is when there is increased sodium cells. When there's increased sodium ions in cells, and in the presence of CBD, there is an inflow of potassium ions into the cells, which causes an output of sodium ions, and this inhibits water retention. CBD also modulates stress response. It has an anti-anxiety effect. Central action of CBD is to control the endocrine response, the peripheral nervous system, the auto and the parasympathetic. These are all researches. These are all studies that have been proven. CBD may inhibit stress-induced blood pressure. This is a study that was carried out in Brazil in 2019. CBD also acts as a vasodilator in a randomized cross study. And some patients who took CBD prior to their exposure to stress experienced a minor rising of their blood pressure, lower than those who were placed in the placebo group. CBD may also lower the heart rate. Studies show that CBD lowered the heart rate better than in placebo group after exposure to stress. Now, these are effects, generalized effect of CBD on the body, some body organs, blood vessels, brain, heart, the liver, kidney. At the level of the vessels, CBD, as we have seen, is a vasodilator. It increases vasorelaxant effects in animals. It decreases or increases vasorelaxant effects in animals and human hypertension. It decreases vessels permeability, in animals, models of diabetes. At the level of the heart, CBD decreases oxidative stress in heart of hypertensive animals. It also decreases oxidative and nitrative stress, decreases inflammation, decreases apoptosis, decreases cardiac dysfunction. At the level of the brain, it decreases neuronal damage. There is decreased oxidative stress, decreased neuroinflammation, decreased apoptosis. At the level of liver, kidney, and retina, there is decreased oxidation, oxidative and nitrative stress as well, decreased inflammation, decreased apoptosis. Here we are going to be presenting to you the 3 Nobel Prize winners in 1998 who discovered nitric acid. Farid Murad, Luis J. Ignaro, Robert F. Frugot. These are the scientists who discovered this wonderful molecule. Our body produces its own nitric oxide, and with age, we lost that ability to produce. Here we notice that at the age of 40, we lost 50% of our ability to produce nitric oxide, and at the age of 60, we lost 80%. And this leads to accumulation of fatty deposits along the lumen of the blood vessels, causing a lot of cardiovascular diseases, hypertension being one of them, and diabetes may also set in, and a lot more. Nitric oxide has also been proven to be an anti-inflammatory, anti-atherosclerotic, anti-thrombotic, probiotic, anti-aging, antioxidant, anti-oncogenic, anti-stress, anti-hypertensive, antimicrobial, and anti-proliferative. Here, this is carbonoxybose of Sucavu, which contains non-selective activators of nitric oxide synthesis, whose health effects have been described, but also contain other ingredients with various benefits. It's an excellent nitric oxide booster, which we encourage everyone to take. It contributes to fight against high blood pressure, stress, inflammation, atherosclerosis, cellular oxidation, immune dysfunction, and tiredness. Okay, let's look at diabetes and weight loss. What is diabetes? In simple terms, we know that after every meal, the quantity of sugar in the blood increases, what we call glycemia. And due to this increase in sugar in our blood, we have an organ that helps to regulate the sugar, that is the pancreas. Diabetes sets in 2 instances. In cases where the pancreas is unable to produce enough insulin, insulin is a molecule that helps our body cells to pick up glucose molecules and utilize for cell metabolism. So in cases where the pancreas is unable to produce enough insulin, much of this glucose or this sugar will be allowed wanting at the level of the blood vessels. Or in some cases, insulin may be produced, but the cells are unable to pick and utilize it, and there is no penetration. That is what we call insulin resistance at the level of the cells, leading to high accumulation of glucose at the level of the blood vessels, causing diabetes. Now, carbonoxybose by Sucavu contains ingredients including arginine and citrulline, which are known as precursors of nitric oxide that the body produces through 2 routes seen above, the digestive and the endothelial pathways. And in this presentation, we have seen the biomolecular mechanisms of action of nitric oxide on diabetes and the metabolic syndrome. CBD acts on the endocannabinoid system and maintains the functional balance of the pancreas and regulates the function. According to certain authors, CBD suppresses the autoimmune response to the disease, and the result is that insulin requirements to balance type 1 diabetes are greatly reduced. CBD inhibits the autoimmune response in type 1 diabetes. CBD also decreases inflammation. It regulates the level of sugar in the blood, and in a study carried out indicated that 4,700 diabetic patients shows a reduction in the IR of 17% in patients under CBD. And in type 2 diabetes, CBD regulates the sugar level by 2 mechanisms. We have homeostasis and anti-inflammatory action on the pancreas. Here is carbotrine. of Sucavu and its role in obesity. And here in Sucavu, we encourage everybody to always focus more on feeding on the fruit and vegetables. We need to shun away from feeding on this Western diet made up of so much sugar content, you know, a lot of fatty diet, which is one of the risk factors or predisposing factors to these cardiovascular pathologies. And good enough, Sucavu trim is a cannabinoid with its entourage effect associated with vitamin B6 for a combination for a winning combination. It works by boosting metabolism, rapid energy production, increased concentration, reduced appetite, maintains blood constancy, indicated in cases of overweight, and it is very effective when used in combination with hemp and pea protein and hemp super greens. Hemp and pea protein is a dietary supplement, a meal replacement vitamin complex blend that stimulates the building of healthy muscles and strong bones. It allows maximum absorption of biologically active proteins. Hemp super greens is consisting of vegetables, fruits, and cannabinoids, you know, combining 10 very powerful antioxidants and ensures detoxification and optimization of cellular function. It also ensures healthy digestion, optimizes energy level, important for starting a weight loss program. CBD and obesity. Now, as an appetite regulator, CBD promotes weight loss. It regulates feelings of hunger and the onset of diabetes and its complication. By fighting obesity, CBD fights against diabetes at the same time. Now, we are going to look now at the effect of the calorie density of food, their glycemic index and their PRAL index, that's potential acid renal load on obesity and diabetes. And here it's worth noting that the caloric density is a number of calories in 1 gram of food. The glycemic index defines the glycemic power of a food compared to that of glucose, which is 100. And the glycemic index varies from 0 to 35, which is low, 35 to 50, moderate, 50 to 100, very high. The PRAL index defines whether a food is acidifying or alkalizing. The PRAL index, which is less than 0, is alkalizing food. When it is more than 0, is acidifying food. And the more a food is alkalizing, more it fights against obesity and diabetes. Healthy diets will combine foods with a low calorie density, a low glycemic index, and a PRAL index of less than 0. Okay, the effects of cannabinoid on skin affections. The skin has its own endocannabinoid system, very interesting, to which CBD binds, and it is also effective in a wide range of skin problems. It works against wrinkles, eczema, psoriasis, acne, pain, and dry skin. How does CBD work against acne? Now, the mechanism in which acne is formed is that there is hyperseborrhea and inflammation at the level of the dermis of the skin. Now, when CBD bind on the receptors on the skin, that's CB1 and CB2, there is the blockage of that mechanism of the pathway, leading to decreased hyperseborrhea, inflammation at the same time, and there is decreased hyperkeratinization at the level of the epidermis, leading to non-production of papule at the level of the skin, blocking that pathway, meaning that acne is automatically blocked from being formed on the surface of the skin. CBD also acts effectively to improve the health of the dermal skin. Its epigenetic action on differentiation of genes, effective topical alternative for skin problems. It controls the expression of genes encoding all defects in the skin cells by blocking them and causing apoptosis. How does CBD work? It relieves inflammation, relieves itching and burning, insect bites, infections, injuries, and sores. It is indicated for pimples, clogged pores, blackhead, face defect, eczema and psoriasis, wounds and bumps, flabby and patchy skin, and skin rash as well. We present to you skin cleansers and toners, products of Sucavu, and there are 3 of them. We have Supreme Facial Toner, Clarifying Facial Serum, and Daily Deep Cleanser. They work against acne and make the skin clear and soft, perfect for all skin types, including oily skin. We also have serums, Clarifying Facial Serum, Nourishing Eye Serum, Anti-Aging Serum, Ultimate Facial Serum. All of them has an anti-aging effect, anti-wrinkle, moisturizing, anti-acne, anti-inflammatory, revitalizing the skin, making us look younger, beautiful as always. Rescue Balm of Sucavu is a combined sea buckthorn oil, healing compounds, ideal cannabinoid for burns, sunburns, skin rash, dry skin, and general skin conditioning. It is a balm of choice, treatment of choice for psoriasis. With only moderate use in just a couple of weeks, the results are always very amazing and fantastic. We also have Citrus Splash Body Cream, which hydrates, softens, regenerates the skin, healing and repairing the skin, suitable for all skin types as well. We have Body Polish of Sucavu, which is an exfoliating scrub with very fine shell powder to remove dead skin cells. Combined action of cannabinoids to smooth the skin and give it a radiant appearance. Delicious fresh scent of orange and mint on the skin. That's so wonderful. And this is the Sucavu core packages. We have dietary supplements, which include chromium proteins, Cavu nuts boost, hemp and pea proteins, hemp and pea super greens, Cavu trim, cannabidiol for an inexpensive package. Now, in view of the above, we have highlighted the effect of CBD on stress and anxiety, on pain and inflammation, on high blood pressure, on excess body fat by reduction of appetite, on skin health. We can say that CBD can contribute to fight against metabolic syndrome. As shown by several studies around the world with their entourage effect, the cannabinoids contained in Sucavu products play a major role in the fight against stress, anxiety, pain, inflammation, high blood pressure, overweight, and skin affections for preventive and curative purposes by the mechanisms which we have just described above. And they are recommended in progressive doses to reach their optimum effect. And it is on this slide as I present to you the Real Spectrum Pro line of Sucavu products. And it's good news that all of these products that we have presented, the majority or most of them are found already in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, and in Douala. In Douala, we have Pharmacy Queens, which is at Mokolo. Dr. Toko is there waiting for anyone who has any of the problems we have just explained above. On the medical prescription, of course, you contact him and you are going to be served this wonderful product. Thank you all for your kind and patient attention. Questions, testimonies, and other worries are now welcomed. Thank you all once again.